What's up, everybody? Is Casey with Two Worlds Podcast, and with me, as always, it's the Johnny Quest to my Haji. It's Jake. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I used to love that show a lot when I was a kid.
Did you watch the the other one that came out, like the kind of reboot, but not a reboot, maybe a sequel, one that
I
also
like
came out when we were younger?
probably a few episodes, but definitely not as much as like the original Boomerang
Yeah,
one.
yeah, because like Dad, like that was the original one was like when Dad was a kid, so that's why I and then this new one came out and like it had like the awesome CG that I have a feeling if we went back and watched it didn't age as well as the Hanna Barbera original style, but it's like it was pretty darn neat. And then it like the second season happened. I remember even like because I was like obsessed with the first season, and like the second season came out and I was like I lost interest, and I like was reading the wikis on it like a while back, and it was like, oh yeah, they had to change creative teams like halfway through the first season. The quality went down, or something like that. I'm like, oh well, it checks out. I guess 7-year-old Casey had pretty damn good taste then.
Now, remind me, because I'm blanking. There were two adults and then a dog. What were their names?
So I just know him as Dr. Quest would be the Johnny's dad, and then it was Race Bannon,
Ray
and
Spannon, that's right.
and then I think it's was it is it Scout? He's like a little bulldog, has a lot of
Right, because
attitude, but he
yeah,
can't
he was
talk.
white and then had like black spots around his
Yeah,
eyes. Let's see, Johnny Quest dog.
maybe it's Bandit.
Bandit.
There we
Bandit.
go. Man, like between the Venture Brothers and Harvey Birdman, though, it's kind of ruined Races and Dr. Quest's bromance for me because it's like, oh, they were banging.
Oh man. Well, anyway, let's man, how was your week? I'll ask about your week.
ah, wasn't too bad. I mean, we talked about briefly before. I got a bunch of Christmas presents wrapped. Don't have
Well, that's
yours
good.
wrapped. Your last bit just came in today, so I'm just gonna toss it all in a bag and call it good.
So, funny thing about your Christmas present, I ordered it like months ago, like maybe at the start of the year, and forgot about it. So when it came in, I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, oh yeah, now I know what it is.
now,
Anyway,
now I just like to think it's a you know how like you can get like mold of like your dong to turn into a dildo.
yeah.
You're like, I sent it off and I got it in the mail. I'm like, huh, what could this be?
I hope that you treasure it.
Yeah, I'll see it. I'm like, oh, Jake's penis. I know what this is. It's got
Except
the
this
curve and
one,
everything.
24 karat gold curve.
Oh.
Anyway, enough of that. We can get into our news.
Okay.
I'll let you
So
take it away.
yeah, man, we got some they announced that at the Game Awards a Hellboy game. And it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like it looks like a Mike Mignola comic, like they kind of did the style that way and everything. The gameplay might not be the like because me and Nick watched the gameplay trailer, and it's like it's gonna be a toss up whether or not it's gonna work, but I'm hoping it's gonna be good. Like I said, the stuff looks pretty solid.
Wasn't there an old PlayStation Hellboy game?
There was, I think Nick had it, and I never played it, so I couldn't, But it was called Hellboy. This is called Hellboy Web of Weird. So if it comes out for PS4, I might check it out.
Right on. Well, I hope that it does well. We stan Hellboy around here.
Yeah.
Um, oh, speaking of video games, this isn't in the notes, but this Wednesday, the what is that, the 14th?
Probably.
Yes, the 14th is the Witcher 3 big next gen update that Jake's been waiting on for over a year now. So if you have The Witcher 3, then the update is free to you. There's got new DLC stuff added. And if you haven't played it, What are you doing with your life? Play it. So just a reminder for everybody.
Speaking of video games, also, just to piggyback on your video game talk, I finally downloaded Gigabash and I played a little bit of that. Got
Pretty
got to
good.
play as it's fine. It's like they try to do too much with some of the levels where it's like, oh yeah, this level you're in a volcano. So it's like, oh, this is terrible. Like there's so many of these levels where there's like so much crap going on where it's like I'd just rather, have it fight and maybe a few military things attacking. I don't need a giant mech just attacking both of us while we're trying to fight.
So speaking of, glad you said Gigabash. I saw a couple days ago that they're adding uh Godzilla DLC.
Yep, they did that, and I downloaded that too with it, and it's fun. You get Destroya, Gigan, Godzilla, and Kiru, Mecha Godzilla.
Okay, right on.
So it's a good time. I mean, but we're not the testing room. Let's get back to real news.
You're right. You're right.
Jackie Chan confirms Rush Hour 4 is still happening. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Everyone that saw Rush Hour 3 says, please don't.
I mean, you say that, dude, but you know how Twitter is. People are probably like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing." Rush Hour
Probably
3 was the best one.
it they might, but at the same time, it's like there's also the thing where they don't like Jackie Chan too much on Twitter because he is very much pro China since he's Chinese. And so like he'll be like, nah, China's not doing anything terrible. What are you talking about? We're wonderful here. Nothing bad has ever happened with the Chinese government. They're fantastic. Trust me. So they don't like him too much
Well,
for
hey,
that.
I adore
As
the
they
Jackie Chan adventures, and therefore I believe Jackie. He would not steer me wrong.
I mean, I just don't think you can complain too much about China, their slave labor and all this other stuff while you're wearing your Nikes and you're on your iPhone. But glass houses.
Well, speaking of movie stuff, so I saw several reports this week that the canceled Michael Keaton Batman movie was going to be Batman Beyond. I'm sure you probably saw this too.
I saw it too, and I also saw the person that wrote the people that wrote Birds of Prey were going to be the ones to write that. So I'm like, maybe we dodged a bullet because Birds of Prey is not a good movie. It could have been
Yeah.
a good movie, but
Oh yeah, it could have been. It's like if they messed Cassie Kane up that much, we didn't want to see what they did to Terry McGinnis.
right. And it's not just that; it's just like, oh, they could not to save their lives, they could not tell a story in like in a normal way. It was just like, so this movie, we're gonna start here, and then it's gonna be 5 minutes in the future, then it's gonna be 10 hours in the past, and it's gonna be 7 hours in the future, then it's gonna be back to where they were, but then it's gonna be 30 minutes past that, and it's like, why?
Yep. I wanted to like that movie a lot, and it does have some good parts,
It's
but
Margot Robbie, like her jail fight scene's pretty
oh,
rad,
it's the
but at the same
best.
time, it was like the setup to it's like 30 minutes ago. It's like you're not Quentin Tarantino. Stop it.
Yeah.
All right.
So okay, let's save all of our like DC stuff for
Yeah, because that's gonna be like a
last.
one big
Yeah.
glob of stuff.
All right, so I'll say we'll do some comic stuff because this is in fact a comics podcast. Jed McKay and Pascal Ferry will be launching Doctor Strange #1 in March. I'm not sure if that means that Strange is coming to an end, but it probably does.
Probably.
But anyway, I think I speak for both of us that we're on board for that and
Yeah.
are going to keep reading Jed McKay's Strange related stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I just kind of hope Clea is still around because I've grown to very much appreciate her as a character. Because like prior to that, I have some of like the trades of the early Doctor Strange, and she's kind of just a forgettable character in those. Not much there, you know. And so then like jumping from there to this, it's like, oh wow, she's got a lot of character now. She's really cool, really fun. So I'm hoping for more of her.
I agree.
Okay, so Dread 2. You okay, Hallie? She's having some nightmares.
Aw,
Dread 2 is reportedly in development with Carl Urban returning. So that should be fun. Dread 1 is a lot of fun. Carl Urban is pretty darn awesome. So I'm pretty excited.
I I didn't even look at your notes prior to this. I had no idea that that was a thing. So that gets me insanely hyped because
Nice.
Dread is like legit one of my favorite movies. I love that movie.
It's pretty rad. And then like I said, Urban's so good. And also Urban doesn't have like I'm a little worried now, like since Boys has blown up so much that the studios might be like, we gotta see Urban's face now. Because before Urban was just a character actor where they could just be like, nah, he doesn't need to show his face. He's in everything. No one knows who he is though, because he's so good at what he does. But now they'd be like, no, let's see the beautiful blues.
Well, hopefully he'll get to be some sort of producer and be like, no, he
Yeah,
doesn't show his face.
yeah. Okay, I got some anime related news that we can talk about really quick since we are sort of anime boys. We haven't done that in a day or two, but
I know, I
I'll
miss
get through
it.
Soul Eater someday, I promise. But One Punch Man season 3 will be produced by Mappa Studios. I don't know anything about Mappa Studios, but people online are
I
excited that,
do.
and then some people online are like, they're never gonna get any sleep. So, you know,
So yeah, they did Jujutsu Kaisen, which was cool. They also did the final season of Attack on Titan, and I'm pretty sure they do Chainsaw Man as well. So it's gonna look awesome. I don't know if it's gonna look One Punch Man season one level of awesome, which is like the best anime animation in my mind, but
yeah,
it'll be pretty darn close.
good. Right on. And then my last bit of news before we get to the honking wad of stuff that we have sharing is Netflix and Legendary are making a live action My Hero Academia movie for Lord knows why,
There is nothing a live action adaptation can do better than the animation did. There's
right?
nothing.
Also, are you caught up yet,
No.
dude? This new season, I know you complained last season. You're like, oh, they're doing stuff at the school again. I want them to be fighting people and punching, and saving people and killing and screwing and all this stuff. And you get all that except for the screwing.
I don't know that I specifically said screwing. Can I just like can I just start on the new season and not finish season two
No,
or
okay.
whatever it was?
I would say skip over. Yeah, if you're at season 2, I'm like, you need to watch a lot of stuff because I
Well,
think it's the
no,
season.
no.
I know.
I mean, wherever I was.
You need to watch the second half of this last season. It's all villain shit, and it like builds up to why, and like it cuts like the way that season ends. It ends with them being like, we're gonna raid these fuckers. That's how that like it cuts with like Deku be like, and this is when the raid happens, and then like this new season starts in the shit. They're just like raiding them, taking the two pronged attack and stuff.
Sounds
And
great.
yeah, and
And then
so
after that's over, they're going to be like, okay, talent show.
dude, it's one of those things. Like me and Clint talk about this. I'm like, dude, they're gonna have to have like the biggest Christmas music festival to get us like amped back down after all of this because like since this season started it's been nonstop. Like we had like 2 episodes I'd say where it's like, oh yeah, we're throwing in some plot here, but then you'll be like, they're like, oh, they're gonna take them, this is awesome, and then you're like, you thought, and then something crazy happens and it's just like, oh shit, they still haven't got it.
Yeah. I, man, I mean, when it's good for me, it's really fucking good. I don't like the down parts.
See, like I don't mind them, but some of them drag too much. Like the talent show episode, like where it's just like this was like a an arc, like 7 episodes or whatever. I'm like, this is a bit like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Or hear me out, 0 episodes.
I mean, I think filler is fine. I
Dude,
really
I
do.
know. I'm just being a twat.
Yeah, like I think filler is perfectly fine, but I don't think that much filler is.
Right.
Because like remember that episode of Dragon Ball Z when Chi Chi was making Goku and Piccolo get their driver's license? It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. And I like the filler on Naruto, but I don't know. It's just different. Or like, like baseball episodes in Dragon Ball, I think are amazing.
Yeah.
But I just don't care about what's his name being a perv. And then they all do like a little song number. I don't know. It's whatever. We
Yeah.
can move past it.
I got you, man.
Um,
I'm just saying, check out like I said, check out the second half since you weren't into the them whole, the kid on kid action.
yeah,
Just
that is correct.
since you weren't into that, the villains attack this city and oh boy, it's awesome.
I will add it to the list, but I've got like 50 episodes of Naruto left.
That'll be like a day for you.
I wish. All right. My last bit before all of our DC stuff. So this is going to be my front runner for our end of the year Tom King Award. Aftershock is being called out for not paying its creators this year. The big one that's come out was writer Zach Thompson. This was his quote. He said, "I've had 2 books completely fall apart this year because of late payments, one of which took me over a year of dedicated research to even script. The publisher then optioned one of my books without telling me or the team, and then after that still said they couldn't pay. It's December, and a lot of creators are heading into Christmas with thousands owed to them and no real recourse to get paid for their work. It's disgusting. It's clear to me that our industry is in a state of huge transition, and a lot of smaller publishers may not make it to the other side." And then writer Alex DeCampi came out and was like, "Yeah, that's Aftershock Comics. They owe friends of mine tens of thousands, and like my friends are dealing with lawyers right now. So it sucks because I did think highly of Aftershock, but
Yeah,
now not so much. So
that's
hopefully the people get paid for the work they did."
I hope so. Like if you're a smaller company and like what you have to do, in my opinion, as someone that doesn't own a comic book publishing company, is just be like, hey, we can't pay you what these other places do, but you're gonna get, we're gonna pay you still X amount. And then on that, also the less pay, you're gonna keep 15% ownership in anything you produce. So even if later on someone else is writing it, but they decide to make a movie off of it, you're still getting however much it get made, however
Yeah,
much
yeah.
this, that's the, or like a TV show or whatever. That's the way to do it. Cause like
Mm-hmm.
otherwise you're gonna end up like this.
Yeah, because no one's going to come work for you. And eventually you're either going to get sued or your company's just going to fall apart.
Yeah. They're gonna declare bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Like if they're being sued over the money that they're not paying people, they're just gonna declare bankruptcy and it's, gonna be done.
Yep. All right. So now we can talk about the DC movie news. So, Wonder Woman 3 is apparently dead. Patty Jenkins said that Gunn and Safran told her that Wonder Woman doesn't fit into their plan going forward. And Like I know you said in your part that James Gunn tweeted some responses to various stuff, but all I saw was that he's like, some of what you've read is true, some of
Yeah.
it isn't, and we'll announce it when we can. We just want DC to be good. So my other bit, and then I'll let you do all yours, is that WB is apparently developing a spin-off for Hawkman. Not sure if it's going to be a movie or if it'll be a show on like HBO or whatever. So
Yeah, there's this big article in, I think, Hollywood Reporter about all this stuff. And with some of the Patty Jenkins stuff, I guess like Warner Brothers came back to Patty after she sent off her script, and they're like, "Oh, you need to change this, this, this." And then like, and big part of that was get rid of Linda Carter. They didn't want her in there at all. And then Patty was like, "No, I told her I'd have her in there. This is part of what I want. This is like part of the arc. I need this to be this way." And so they just kept butting heads on that. Patty wouldn't budge. Warner Brothers wouldn't budge. So they're just like, "Well, see ya." And that's that. That's what I've heard from other stuff. And then um, a lot of people were saying that Black Adam didn't make enough money to be doing new stuff. And then there's going to be a whole reboot. And then, but then I think that's one of those things also where it's like, then like Dwayne was like, "Oh no, it made $40 million."
dude, okay, that was the big thing I wanted to bring up. Who do we believe? Because some people are saying it didn't make enough, and then Dwayne and others are saying no, it did. So did it or didn't it? I just like who? How do you know what to believe anymore?
I really think it's 100% until Gunn or Safran say otherwise. You just can't take anything for what it is. And even stuff he says, I don't think we can 100% say, "Oh yeah," because he's not 100, because he's like, "Oh yeah," people are like, "Oh, you don't like Henry Cavill," and he's like, "No, I do like him as Superman," but he's not saying we're keeping him as Superman. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that where he's not saying 100% stuff all the time, and that's how he has to be right now. So I'm not holding that against him, but I it's 100%. If you don't hear it from him, don't take it for what it is. I'm just kind of trying to report on what all these rumor people are saying, because I heard the same thing like after I was hearing like Black Adam's not making enough money, blah blah blah. They're gonna reboot, they're gonna get rid of everything, and then like Hawkman might be getting something. So like I wouldn't be surprised if they're thinking about doing a Hawkman thing, but they're also like, let's see how the streaming numbers are for Black Adam too, since that's going to come out streaming, I think, this month sometime.
It is, yeah. So
So
here's my question then. Do you think it made enough? Like just based on what you heard or like just your own thoughts, do you think it did okay?
I think it did okay, but I think DC didn't want it to do okay. I think they wanted it to do amazing. So I think it's still up in the air. There were some rumors that old Jason Momoa is gonna, and this is like pretty outlandish, but Jason Momoa is gonna stop being Aquaman and he's gonna take on Lobo, which it's like that's perfect casting. They should have done that the first time around, but it's hard for me to buy that just because of the fact that audiences will be like, What's Aquaman doing in outer space? Riding a motorcycle." You know, people are stupid. This is like, your go-to audience is not the comic book fan, it's the stupid people that are also watching these movies. So I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
uh but like Gunn has said time and time again, though, he's very adamant on getting the big three kind of stuff lined up, and also apparently he really wants stuff good with Green Lantern. So those are things that are promising. I'll say that. And then the last bit I heard is, I guess, Man of Steel 2, there was a script, but WB passed on that too. It was made by, I think, the people that are heading up Peaky Blinders, I think. They did a script, and then Warner Brothers had to be like, no, you need to work on it some more. So don't know what's going on there with that.
Sorry, there a script for which project?
Man of Steel 2.
Oh, Man of Steel 2. I gotcha.
So
Well, that's interesting. Um, I mean, obviously, I adore Peaky Blinders. That doesn't mean it'll transition well to anything else, but
Yeah,
I'm curious. I just don't think WB knows what they want to do with
they don't.
Superman, which is such a shame. It's like, how are you guys fucking up your, well, to me, the most important character? A lot of people will say Batman, but
It's
we
one of the
we
two
need a
most
good
important
Superman.
characters.
Yeah.
Like I really 100% think, and I hate saying this, but they should start fresh, do like a New 52 style reboot after Flashpoint, where but they do it better than New 52, but just be like, yeah, we'll keep Henry Cavill, and Batman, it's kind of up in the air who we get, doesn't really matter, but we keep Cavill and keep Gal Gadot, and then just kind of be like, this is kind of changed, but it's also kind of kind of the same, and then we'll move on from there.
Hmm. Like
And then when
reference the fact that they fought Doomsday or something like that, but don't ever show it.
yeah,
Well, I guess we'll
and
see what happens.
and then even doing that, then you can go back and do like a better startup for a Batman movie, and stuff. And yeah,
I
I
want
just
them to use Pattinson. I know that his stuff is supposed to be its own thing, but at the same time, Gunn and Safran want everything to be more tied. So it's like, let's just do that then. You use
uh,
him for everything.
I wouldn't like that because it's just like that Batman had trouble with, you know, like basically internet Twitter trolls. And then it's like, well, here you go, take on a space god. Good luck.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to take place right after his first movie.
I know. I'm just like I'm still not the hottest on that movie, but you know how I get salty. But
Yeah.
but no, it's just you'd have to do a lot to make that, and like that one is also like you have to do a lot to make that Batman credible in this universe, and then also do a lot to make his villains credible in that universe too. And I don't I think you'd have a lot of problems there. That's the problem with a hyper realistic Batman.
Yeah. Well, I guess that is the end of the news, right?
Yeah.
So now we're going to take our ad break. And when we come back, we will review some comics. So we will be right back. All right, dude. So I told you about this a couple days ago, and you thought it would make for a good YouTube story. So I'm going to tell you about the guy that I interacted with at the shop this last week. I get a phone call on like Tuesday or whenever, and this guy tells me that he has every single issue of Amazing Spider-Man. Now, most of you listening will know that that's a lot of issues of Spider-Man. Just the first series of Amazing Spider-Man, if you're using legacy numbering, is over 900 at this point. Not to mention any other spinoff or whatever, not spinoff, but other series over the years. And obviously, I'm thinking, and he throws out the year 1962. So I'm like, oh, okay, he's opened up the first issue, and down in the fine print has seen the copyright date for 1962. This guy actually has Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man #1, which I realize most of the time is unlikely, but it's not ever totally out of the realm of possibility, right?
Yeah, well, I remember one time when I was there, a dude just randomly brought in a suitcase the first appearance of Hank Pym, first Ant-Man, like a whole bunch, like, just like all that shit. And it was like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So it certainly can happen. So I asked him to bring it in. I was like, well, even if he and I can't work something out, it will still be pretty cool to at least see this issue in person. and hold it in my hands. So the guy shows up about an hour later, and instead of every issue of Spider-Man, starting at the first issue in 1962, what he actually has is 100-ish random issues of Spider-Man from the 90s, none of which is actually Amazing Spider-Man, but it's like, Peter Parker, Spectacular, Ultimate Spider-Man, stuff like that. Uh, he did have Ultimate Spider-Man #1, which was pretty cool.
Mike
But
walked in. He's like, "What?"
but I was just like, oh, dude, not only do you not have every issue of Amazing Spider-Man, you don't have every issue from one complete series. So it was very, very disappointing. And most of the time, I like to burst people's bubbles, but this was like a nice older gentleman who, you know, was clearly thought he had something and was pretty disappointed that he didn't. And I was also disappointed because that could have been a great situation for the both of us. However, that wasn't the case. And I ended up buying some of it off of him because clearly, like, early issues of Ultimate Spider-Man is still desirable. It's just not to the same caliber as tens of thousands of dollars. So,
I
anyway, that's the story. I just thought it was kind of funny.
I love the idea of the guy like going back home and he's like, "Oh, I knew I should have brought the older stuff. But I just thought this '90s artwork looked cooler." And like he has like the stacks of like the '62s.
He just throws it in the
Yeah.
dumpster. Yeah. He did have some amalgam stuff
Oh
and
shit.
Marvel versus DC, so that was pretty neato.
Nice.
But
So yeah, did he
yeah.
have a Spider Boy?
No, he had Speed Demon
Ooh,
and the most expensive, which is
I forget.
Dark Claw,
Oh, okay.
which is
See,
Wolverine and
yeah.
Batman.
Nick had that one from when we were kids. Looked super cool.
Oh yeah.
Had that,
Honestly, most all of them do.
right? The funniest one's the Skulk, though.
Yeah, for sure. I've never actually had that one come through.
So it, as far as I know, Skulk didn't have his own comic. He was just in Strange Fate.
Oh, okay. Okay. Which that one I have. I just clearly didn't read it. I just like
Yeah.
the cover because it's a cool mashup.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that one was funny, and Bruce Wayne, Agent of Shield.
Yeah.
But
That one's like,
that's the book that has the Moon Knight Nightwing
yeah.
mashup.
I was about to say, like, that one's like and it's written by Chucky D. So that's like
It
a
is.
100% your bread and butter.
Yeah. And it's a solid read too. That one I actually did read. But anyway, that's the funny story for you.
Yeah. Nice, man.
So do you want to do a Mad Lib?
Oh, always.
All
I'm
right.
gonna remember to have a pin up here because I'll start doing the Godzilla ones when I have a pin.
Now, I'll let you pick. Do you want to keep doing from the book we normally do, or do you want to do the Sonic movie one?
Oh, let's keep doing the book we normally do.
Okay. Flip to the page here. Let's get silly with it this time, man.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
gonna
get
try my
real
best.
silly.
Let's get real horny and silly
Horny and silly. That's what we like. Okay. And it starts with part of the body, plural.
with it. Uh, I'm gonna say balls.
Love it. Plural noun.
Um, plural noun. Let's think of a good one. Sheep.
Okay. An adjective.
Veiny. It's my favorite.
It really is. I think it's been used every time. Verb.
Insert.
Nice. Plural noun.
um hmm, cats.
Adverb.
Which one's the adverb again?
Uh like quickly. Like
Oh,
it
okay.
describes the verb.
I gotcha. Um, Suddenly.
Okay. Noun.
Come.
All right. All right. I like where we're going with this. Noun.
um, Rock.
Adjective.
Mm, Smelly.
Okay. Noun.
Butthole.
Verb ending in ing.
Fucking.
Noun.
Puddin.
Plural noun.
um, Cakes.
Adjective.
Mm, Sturdy. I like my women.
Plural noun.
Ninjas.
Color.
Ivory.
Adjective.
Mm, Bloody.
And noun.
Mm, like a big sloppy mud pie.
Okay. Here we go. Balls the Echidna is one of Sonic's greatest sheep. While Sonic is veiny and can insert at amazing speeds, Knuckles has spiky cats that allow him to suddenly climb over any cum. He is from Angel Rock and is sworn to protect the island's most smelly the island's most smelly item, the master butthole, which gives the island its fucking power. Without it, the floating puddin would crash into the tropical cakes below. Knuckles loves the island and its many sturdy environments, such as sandy ninjas and deep ivory seas, and bloody forests. For Knuckles, there's truly no big sloppy mud pie like home.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah. Yep. I like it. The smelly master butthole, which gives the island its fucking power.
It's a shame we can't get the title of the episode for from this.
I know, right? I know.
Dude, I know you've not seen I think you should leave, but there is this one bit. It's so like all of them are so fucking stupid. But it's this haunted house and they're at this haunted house, and the guy that's doing this show, he's like, yeah, so this is the adults only thing, so we can get a little crazy, like hell. We can say, I was like, we can say whatever the hell we want, and they're like, and he's just like Tim Robbins, like the main guy, he like raises his hands, like, so could I like if like a ghost comes in and he like just shoots a big wad of cum out everywhere out of his dick hole, I'd be like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, you could, but like, why are you doing that? And like he just keeps doing like that type of, he's like, dude, you have to stop. This isn't funny. And he's like, well, I just thought like, you said this is like we can say whatever the hell we want. So I thought this is okay.
I really need to give that show a try.
I
Dude,
mean,
speaking of, what is the name of that insane Australian sketch comedy show you made me watch?
Auntie Donna.
That's it. I was trying, like, I wanted to watch some last week and I couldn't think of the name of it. And then I got busy and forgot to text you.
Dude, that one, like that show, it's just like, I'm just like, how are you doing? Like, how did you go from singing a song about everything's a drum to trying to find a new roommate? Like, how is it that this is what
I
this is
love
the
it.
it's so funny. Oh, shoot.
All right. Welcome back, folks. If you would like to hear a new funny customer at comic headquarters story, I tell that over on our YouTube channel. And Casey and I do a new Sonic Mad Lib, which is pretty funny this time. Casey got a little raunchy with it. So
Yeah.
if you want to hear all that, go over to our YouTube channel. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.
And if you'd rather us just bring you our collection of, like 90s baseball cards and just be like, how much for these? Thousands of dollars? And just keep saying that until you give us money. And then after you give us the money, then we'll say, oh, this is what happened on the thing. Thanks for the money.
Dude.
Bye.
Okay, so real quick, speaking of that, another guy called. I don't know if this was last week or the week before, and he was he said that he had a bunch of his cards stolen and was essentially trying to see if somebody had brought them to me to sell so that he could get his cards back, which is absolutely fine. However, before I could even get out, well, let me stop you right there because I actually don't buy any cards at all. He then listed like 10, what I'm guessing are either Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering cards before I could even be like, hold on, dude, like I don't buy cards. But it was just like, I had, Pot of Greed, which I know is a Yu-Gi-Oh card, but
Yeah.
it was just like he was naming all these cards, and I was like, whew, okay. He listed 10 before he finally took a breath, and I was like, sorry, dude, I don't buy cards, so they're not here.
I'd love it if he's like, yeah, like a Dark Magician, a Pot of Greed, a Blue Eyes, a Red Eyes, a Ken Griffey Jr. You're like wait,
Exodia.
yeah, you're like wait. Ken Griffey Jr. was a Yu-Gi-Oh guy? Like, yeah, he's the best because he just beats them to death with a hammer. Like a hammer, not a baseball bat? No, this is Carpenter Ken Griffey Jr., not the baseball player. But if you'd rather just go to the YouTube channel instead of us, making you buy our cards for thousands of dollars, go to the YouTube channel. But if you'd rather just give us money, I'm fine with that.
Me too.
But what'd you read this week, man?
I read Daredevil 6, Sword of Azrael 5, Batman 130, Quested number 1, Behold Behemoth number 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 55, and Thor 29.
Ooh, no Fantastic Four. They're going to be checking that guy out.
Well, I didn't get to read the first one yet because I sold out
Okay.
and didn't get
I didn't know you
reorders
sold
in.
out. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I read Dark Crisis Warzone, Godzilla Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King, Ghostrider number 9, Do a Powerbomb number 7, The Joker, the man who stopped laughing, number 3. Ugh, excuse me. Fantastic Four, number 2. Behold Behemoth, number 2. Thor, 29. Daredevil, 6. And Batman, 130.
All right. Well, I'll let you start.
Okay, man. So Dark Crisis. This is one of those ones where it's a bunch of different little stories. So the first one, it's by Jeremy Adams with pencils by Fernando Passarin. Art's really good. Basically, it's just right before the Justice League come back, from from dying but not being dead, and Iris and oh, what's her name? I'm blanking on her name now. Wally's wife are
Iris,
then who's
Linda.
Linda? Okay, they're teaming up to try to save these kids and stuff, and the kids are dressed up and because Iris knew where the armory was, so she gets like a ray gun, and she saves Blue Beetle. Like they're doing Blue Beetle dirty in this, poor guy. But they then have the kids dressed up in Batman armor, and they have some armory weapons and stuff, and they're doing stuff. It's pretty fun. But it's I'm worried when Batman comes back, he sees those kids in his armor. He's like, "Who are those kids? Do they have parents?" I don't have any young kids around my house anymore. They can live with me. And then we get a Jim Corrigan story, him helping Raven take down old Spectre, and this is by Frank Thierry with Serge Acuna on the art. The art's not my favorite in this one, but it's fine. Then we have a very just mediocre Amazon story. It's by Steffi Williams with Caitlin Yarsky, where this is just someone going, this fight that's happening over on in the States, it's pretty crazy, guys. Lots of stuff is happening. This is wild what's going on. You wouldn't believe it.
Tell me, I wouldn't believe it.
And it's just and it'll go we got some Amazon spraying a hose on a fire, and one's lifting debris. They're saving people. This is crazy. You wouldn't this is good stuff. It's awesome. So yeah, I'm not feeling that one. And then Rosenberg with George Kamandas does a Green Lantern story. It's Joe and Guy heavy, and I'm not gonna lie, Rosenberg doing a Guy Gardner story be pretty sweet, because he writes them very well in this, and it's between the two of them, between Joe and Guy, they actually make one competent lantern. That's a joke, just a little bust in their chops. But yeah, so it was a fun time. And then the last one, it's by Delilah S. Dawson with Tom Derenick on the art. The art's good. The story itself, it's very heavy on Red Canary. And it's boy, this is fine, but guess what? I'm not going to get invested in this character at all, because you know what this is going to end up being like? Harper Row, or any of the other characters that they've introduced over the past couple of years. We're this character's going to be a big deal, and then it's not. This character's gonna get dropped pretty quick, especially since they don't have a Birds of Prey book right now. As soon as Dark Crisis is over, they'll probably have 2 appearances and then not pop up until 20 years from now, when they're I'm now a villain and I'm gonna fight Black Canary.
Okay, so Red Canary is that character dressed in red with black hair that I don't recognize on any of these books.
Yep.
And who's their identity?
I don't know. She's someone that saw she likes Black Canary. And then in this one, she actually teams up with Black Canary. Robin's a jerk.
So it's not like Ollie's sister or anything.
Nope. It's
okay.
She was at the concert where Black Canary went missing, got poofed away. And then she's like, oh, maybe I should be a superhero.
Okay.
And then somehow she's still alive. It's I took Taekwondo classes at the Y. I think I could be a hero.
Yep.
So it's fine. Like this is not necessary. It's just kind of like there's some fun stories. Um, I didn't have to read. No part. No, there nothing needed here. So I'm gonna give it probably a 6 out of 10. You're not missing anything if you miss it, but Jeremy Adams and Rosenberg and some Jim Corrigan. We don't get Corrigan very much anymore, so that's nice.
Not since Gotham by Midnight.
Nope.
All right, first up for me is Quested #1. It's written by Michael Calero and Thomas Parson with art by Kit Wallace. And this was the book by Whatnot Publishing that promised I Hate Fairyland meets Legend of Zelda. And I say that's probably mostly true. Um, Lots of humor in this. The main character is this angry little person, and he teams up with like a couple of con artists, and they're trying to get money so that they can move out of their crappy little town. But then they get hired by a king to rescue a princess, and then at the end they kind of get the crap beat out of them, and it ends on a to be continued. So it's pretty fun. Art's not my favorite, but I realize it's supposed to be kind of goofy and cartoony. So I'm gonna stick it out for another issue or two and see how it goes. But it was an all right start. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10.
Nice. All right, so I'm gonna go next with Godzilla, Monsters and Protectors, All Hail the King. This is by Eric Burnham with Dan Schuing on the art. And it's fun. I mean, I still have a little bit of problem with the zillions, and the art's not my favorite in this either. But I will say, King Ghidorah's design is so good that it doesn't really matter who's drawing it. No matter what, he looks good.
I agree.
So yeah, like you get more of the stuff, and but like with the vlogging and all that type of nonsense, and King Ghidorah and Godzilla fight in this one. The Zillions are trying to control King Ghidorah. They're still calling him King Ghidorah, even though everyone knows the Zillions don't use names, they use numbers. So it should be Monster Zero. But, come on, Burnham. You should be better. But it's pretty good. And then there's a spoiler alert for the next issue, kind of gives away what I already kind of deduced with the new girl who she's got like her monster that she talks to. It gives it away 100%. See if Jake can guess, because he is I'll say casual Godzilla fan.
For sure.
So I don't know if you've seen the one where this guy appears though.
Ooh, I don't think so, man.
It is King Seesaw.
I've heard you talk about him.
He's a big old doggy boy. Uh, but it's funny because there's a part where they go, "Do you sing to your monster too?" And 100%, you should. But she's like, "Oh no, we don't sing to him." But in Mecha Godzilla, it's I think it's Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla. 100%, there's like a 3-minute song to wake up King Seesaw, and I'm gonna find that song. I'm gonna insert it in right here so you can hear like not the whole song, but like the main part, so you can hear when she does that. So you guys get that for you. But no, this is very enjoyable. This is better than the first go around with these Godzilla books. So yeah.
So does does King Caesar help Godzilla fight Mecha Godzilla, or is it like another villain?
No, he helps Godzilla fight him. So like that's the thing that's kind of funny. It's like in the first Mecha Godzilla movie, it's Godzilla and King Seesaw, and they fight him and they team up to take him down, but they both have trouble. Second one, it's Mecha Godzilla with the Titanosaurus teaming up versus Godzilla, and Godzilla and the humans win. It's like, oh, I guess King Caesar wasn't so needed after all.
Like, spoil this for me. Does King Caesar die?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He also then, spoiler alert, reappears in Final Wars, but his design is so much worse. Like Holy crap, they gave him a fur bikini.
Sounds pretty hot to me.
I mean, I guess if you're into that, no judgment, Preston. I've not even met the guy and I'm making fun of him. Oh.
That's hilarious. Man, we're gonna drop a listener after this. All
But
right.
yeah, I
Anyway,
think I think I'll haven't rated it yet. So I'm gonna say 8.5. This is actually a lot of fun. I would recommend it if you're a fan of the old Showa stuff. Yeah, it's good.
right on. Okay, so I will do Sword of Azrael number 5. It's written by Dan Waters, and the art is done by Nicola Sismezija. Hopefully I didn't screw that up too bad. So, man, I am bummed that this only has one more issue because it needs to have more than that.
Yeah.
This issue, like Azrael, like the biblically accurate angel, is having like an identity crisis. So they're no help to John Paul.
I
John
hope Sue
Paul,
did me safe.
yeah, I know, right? John Paul runs into Father Valley, who's essentially saying that John Paul lost his way as Azrael, and we actually get some deep origin stuff. I guess John Paul's father kind of created Father Valley in a way to be the replacement for Azrael, but then that didn't work out. So that's all fun stuff. But anyway, John Paul, like in the deep recesses of his mind, gets Azrael to come to, and they're kind of working together again, and they're going to team up with Father Valley to take on the Templars, who have a mother box looking thing called an angel box, which, implants that whole system of you're an agent of God and you're supposed to be doing this. Like, dude, there's a lot going on in this issue, but
Yeah.
like in the best way. Um, so anyway, let me show you a picture of what this new their name is Sariel. Uh hopefully. Oh, come on. It's not gonna do it.
This
Please.
I can see his
Oh,
abs. Oh,
there we
they're
go.
kind of.
She, hers.
Oh, okay.
It's a lady, but
I
I think
got
they
you.
look pretty cool.
They do.
So anyway, I'm guessing the final issue is going to be a throwdown between that one lady, poor fellow, who was the halberd wielding chick early on that was killing people. So it'd be Goodfellow and Sario versus Father Valley and Azrael. Not to mention Vengeance,
I was about
which
to ask,
was
what's Muscle Mommy Vengeance doing?
she's on the side of the Templars, apparently. So it's like, is someone else gonna come in to like help even the sides, or what's happening? And then I want to show this cool page too. Let me turn off my blurring here. It's just my room is a mess in the background. But whenever he gets Azrael to team back up with him,
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
yeah. So I love this book so much. It's so cool. It's definitely gonna make it on my top comics of the year list. But anyway, the issue ends with John Paul pulling Father Valley up, and he says, "Join me, my brother," and then it says, "To be concluded." So this is definitely my book of the week, and I really don't have any complaints. So I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. It was
Right on, man.
amazing.
Okay, so Ghostrider #9 by Benjamin Percy with Corey Smith on the art. So I like this book a lot. First off, my mildest take that I already tweeted is Benjamin Percy and this book are probably the best Marvel books out right now, in my opinion. so dang good. But yeah, Ghostrider and old goth girl are teaming up, and they're gonna, they're in Chicago, and like Chicago's a hellhole, and so they're gonna find where they're taking all these people. And there's a part where Ghostrider gets on a train and turns the train into a giant Ghost Rider train. Like, look at this. It's stupid. It's awesome.
Yeah, it looks cool.
So yeah, it's really cool. And then old dude, the old bad guy, the new guy that, exhaust shows up, and he's got goth girl. So
Exhaust is on the cover, right?
yes, this is old exhaust.
It's a pretty good cover.
Yeah, he's a pretty sweet villain. Like, if you're a 90s, like, I don't know if Ghost Rider ever really kind of grew out of the 90s. Like, I think it's just like, this is this is where I'm staying. I think they tried a couple times, like when they got Robbie and whatnot, and then it's just like, no, we're going back to the 90s. Thank you very much. This is
Yeah.
our aesthetic. And I'm all about it. So I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. I really like it. It's a good fun time.
And can I just say, I like reading your takes on our Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do more of it. I don't think about it though, so that's the problem.
Yeah. And if anyone else wants to follow along with Casey's comic takes, it's 2_worlds_PC on Twitter.
Yeah, and if you tweet at me, I might tweet back. I don't really know. I'm not good at it.
Moving along, we've got Sonic the Hedgehog 55. And it's written by Evan Stanley with art by Adam Bryce Thomas. Now, I'd like to say, and I'll preface this with not that it matters, Evan Stanley is a lady.
Oh,
I had no idea. It doesn't matter, but I saw her online and I was like, oh, I didn't realize who these creators, like, I don't know what the creators look like, but it's nice to see. But
yeah.
anyway.
Well, fun fact about that. Whenever when I was a kid and I was reading Nightwing, this is before internet, before I was smart, and there was the writer was always Devin Grayson, but just would say Grayson in the corner. So I'm just like, oh, they're just telling me his name.
Dude, I love that. That is hilarious. Now I will say, I guess it could technically be Yvonne, but it's spelled Evan and not how I normally see Yvonne written. So
Yeah.
I'll just keep saying Evan until I meet her one day and she's like, Jake, I listened to the podcast. You're an idiot. My name is Yvonne.
And you're like, well, why didn't you just tweet us? Like, well, because Casey sounds like a moron who wouldn't understand how it works. Like, fair enough.
Fair enough. Anyway, so essentially, this issue, all that happens is that Sonic, Tails, Metal, and Eggman decide that they're going to call a temporary truce so that they can fight Surge and Kit, who, they want to kill everybody that's not them because everybody's been messing with their brains. And, I kind of sympathize with them. But I want to point out that Adam Bryce Thomas's art is so good. As far as, I mean, this could essentially be an anime and I would be all about it. Like the way he draws the action scenes, like here, well, God, I gotta turn off my stupid screen blurring again. Like the eye sparklies here and the close-up on the angry face, it's all just like, for a Sonic comic, I think it's
pretty
really,
sweet.
really good.
It does a good job of like making it serious but still Sonic. You know what I mean? Like, because that's a hard line to toe, but it looks good.
Yeah. And all the creators do it flawlessly in this. So essentially this is all build up for a fight, but it's going to look like an awesome fight next issue whenever it all goes down. So I am really curious how uh this whole arc with Surge and Kit is going to go. It's like, are they going to stay villains, or is the power of friendship going to prevail and they'll come over to the good side? Like, who knows? But
It's probably the second one since it is a Sonic book.
true. But I mean, like the Sinister Six and all of them have remained villains, so it's
Yeah,
like, who knows, who knows. But either way, it's really good stuff. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Sonic deserves it.
right on, man. Does Sonic sell pretty good at your shop?
It sells better than you might think. Um,
Good.
it's like, how I have tiers. It's like right between the not great and the middle tier. So,
Yeah,
for a kid's book, I think that's pretty great.
yeah, it is. Okay, so next up it's the Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, and this is by Matthew Rosenberg with, I'm gonna try to find the art really quick. Carmen Giandomenico on the art. Then we have a backup story by Matthew Rosenberg with Francisco Francavilla. But the main story, Jason finally sees, he finds Joker. He's got his gun because he's brought his gun back, which that's the one thing that annoyed me. He's like, three Jokers happen. He's like, Bruce, I won't use the guns anymore. Okay, Dad. I won't. Just love me like you do the others. And he's like, I'll never love you.
I was waiting for it.
um, so yeah, he's got the gun. He's gonna kill Joker, and then Joker falls into the frozen water, and then the other Joker is at the Hall of Doom, and they're like, "Oh, we don't want you here, you stupid clown." And then they're like we got no clowns allowed except for the one we got. And then Punchline there's like, "Hey, baby, it's me, the only clown that they want. You get on out. Get on out of here."
Why is she like a Southern belle?
Because that's how I read her. You don't? She's like, "Look at me. I can beat up Batman."
No, I don't read
Oh,
her.
well, maybe now you'll like her more.
True. Oh, Batman.
Oh, Batman, I can beat you up any day of the week, and you know it. But Joker pops out of the frozen water because like he just can't die. Like that's what's crazy, and he kills these homeless guys. Like he's such a jerk. Like it's so hilarious because he'll be like, these homeless people, like people will try to help him, and then they'll just be like, "Oh, we found these people dead at the lake, these homeless guys," and then like Joker gets this doctor to help him. He tells the doctor the place has got a bomb, so he's got to, fix him with this poison. Like he gets down to his underwear and he's got like bullet holes all over him, bullet hole in his head, and the doctor like patches him up and does brain surgery on him, and then like Joker just murders him and then pretends he's him as he leaves the hospital. You're like, man, you're such a dick, Joker. But then like it ends with him leaving the hospital while the cops are all there, and then the next issue or then the backup issue, which it's like the backup issues are kind of better than the main story because they're so funny. So like this is it starts with uh oh Big Barda, and Joker's like in love with her now as she beat the
Me
crap
too.
out of, yeah, like that's Jake's muscle mommy. And then she's like beat the crap out of him, and then she drops him on the train, and then the train goes and just cuts Joker in half. And so then um she's like, she tells his two sidekicks that they should get a different line of work, and like it's a little guy and then a gorilla that talks. And I'm trying to think of the gorilla's name because it's like Jackanape, I think is what it is. And so like they take him to the hospital, and then they're like, it's like, my friend needs help. Oh no, what's wrong with them, little fella? It's like, the fuck did you just call me? And then the gorilla is like, boss hit by train. And like, holy hell, is that a talking gorilla? It's like, yeah, obviously. Can we get a different doctor over here? A smart one? Son, look at him. The man is very dead. Then Joker's like, you're not looking so great yourself, Doc. And then this cop comes out with his gun. He's like, drop the corpse now. No gorillas in the hospital. It's like, not dead yet, thank you. And so then like they just end up killing everyone at the hospital because everyone at the hospital is so stupid, and they're just trying to get Joker help. And so then like while the hospital's on fire, his like little henchman guy comes back and he's like, I'm back, boss. I couldn't find Dr. Elliot or Dr. Thorne or Dr. Fries or Dr. Strange or Dr. Crane or Dr. Quinzel or Dr. Isley or Dr. Arthur or Dr. Langstrom or Dr. Desmond or Dr. Sartorius or Dr. Helfrin. But I brought the next best thing, and it's Professor Pig. And then he ends up chopping them all up and combining them all into one guy.
Oh my gosh.
And then Joker's like, I thought you were gonna fix my teeth. And that's how it ends. It's so silly. And like I said, the main story is still good. I'm still liking it. I think you like the last Joker story. This is the same thing except no Gordon, but it's still like it's that level enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10, and I will just say Joker's a real jerk.
So fun fact, Jackanapes first appeared in Batman 666, but that's obviously vastly overshadowed because Batman 666 is the first appearance of Damian Wayne as Batman and also the first appearance of Professor Pig. So
I didn't know that
whenever
was
you see that
Professor
book,
Pig's first appearance.
yeah, so whenever you see that book, that's the only thing people put. First Damian is Batman, first Professor Pig, but never is it first Jackanapes.
That might change now.
That's true. It might. All right. I think I just have our 4 mutuals.
Okay, so Daredevil, Batman, Behold, and Thor, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll talk about Fantastic Four really quick. This is by Ryan North with I hate that like Marvel's normally so good. They get that one special spot. Okay. It's and Ivan Coelho on the art. And so this is Reed and Sue's story because something big happened to the Fantastic Four, but they're not telling us what. And apparently it's not connected to the last series at all. I love
Okay.
I love how Marvel does this. It's the same thing that Spider-Man was doing, where it's like something happened. You better stick around for 20 issues to find out. But so yeah, this is like Reed and Sue are together in this city, and then like everyone in this city is a Doombot, and they all want to kill Sue and Reed, like after they figure out who they are. But then it turns out there's like one person there that's not a Doombot, and it's this nice old lady. And it turns out she knew Doom when he was a kid going to school, and he was a exchange student there, and she took really good care of him, was very nice to him, and he was like, I'm gonna repay this debt someday, and she's like, that's what a weird kid, but that's sweet. And so then like Doom basically put Doombots all over the town to protect them, and then but then the lady got old and she just died, but the Doombots were like, we don't understand this, so then they like basically cocooned her body with the Doombot, so she just kind of rotted away inside the Doombot, but the Doombot thought it was still her. It was crazy.
This sounds weird.
It was weird, but it was still pretty solid story wise. I like Fantastic Four. I just hate this whole like, what happened to the Fantastic Four? Why are they broke up? We'll find out someday. That's just stupid, but it's fun. The art's pretty solid. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll
Is
say
it a
like
good
a
is it a good
6.
jumping on point?
It is. I mean, because it's as good of a jumping on point as it can be when they just leave out huge chunks of what happened before.
Right. Because like whenever I get those reorders of the first issue in, I will like check it out.
Yeah, I like that first issue. That's a fun Ben Grimm story, but it's also like, yeah, when I want a brand new Fantastic Four story, I don't like same thing with that Amazing Spider-Man. I don't want a book where it's just like I'm not sure how I feel about my other members of my team right now because of this thing that happened.
Sure.
That's annoying. But the stories itself, they're fun. But again, if I get a Fantastic Four book, I don't want 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
If
It's not
anything,
the Fantastic Two.
yeah, if I get only 2 of the Fantastic Fours, I should get a damn discount.
And that's not happening at Marvel.
Nope. So yeah, it's probably like I'm gonna say 6.5 out of 10. It's perfectly fine. And then lastly, this is I'm gonna say pick of the week. Do a Powerbomb #7 by Daniel Warren Johnson with Mike Spicer on the colors. They're fighting God in this issue. And
Final
I mean,
issue, by the way.
yes, it is. They fight God. Like if you were like, Casey always talk really highly of this, but I hate wrestling. You'll still like it. It's very good. If you're like, oh, Casey talks really high of this, but I just hate Casey. You'll like this though. It's still really good.
It's like, why are you listening to
Yeah.
this then?
It's like I just really like Jake and I hate listening to Casey. Um, but no, and then like if you just like good action scenes in comics, it's so good. It even has like it gives me video game vibes with the way some of the stuff goes too. Like there's a part where they hit God with one of their moves and then he kicks it. He does a kick out and like the kick out looks like something out of a video game where it's like kick out, like I could see that in a game. So if you're a big video game fan, you'll like it. If you just like good stories, you'll like it. If you feel like crying, this has a scene that might make you cry because it had me very much going, that's nice. That's very nice. So yeah, it's awesome. This is such a good book. I'm gonna buy the trade when it comes out because it's so good. Like it's one of those ones where I just want to reread it. So yeah, this is a 10 out of 10. Series as a whole, 10 out of 10. Pick of the week, you know. I'll talk
Sounds
about
like
it
it's
again.
gonna make your best comics of the year list.
Yeah, I need to get to work on all of the books we read and the one stream of things because I've been putting that off because I know how terrible it's gonna be.
It's coming up, man. We
I
only got a
know.
couple weeks.
Okay, what order do you want to do these four boys in?
Let's do Behemoth, Daredevil, Batman, Thor.
Okie dokie.
All right, so Behold Behemoth #2. It's written by Tate Bromble and Nick Robles. What'd you think of this, dude?
I like it. I'm very curious as to what's going on. I like the little bit of the shadow behemoth that we see. The story is pretty cool. I'm captivated. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I just want to see what's going on with it. And it jumps around a bit too much, in my opinion. Like just the part, like there's this one part that I didn't like, but I like the way that the art was done. But the dude's like, he's like, something's coming, something big. And then it's like, oh, hey, I'm that kid you saw. It's like, oh, hey, I'm a kid too, and then she's got the gun. And then all the stuff starts happening with the panels. That looks really cool. But then it cuts to the giant monsters doing stuff. And then he gets away, like, I guess because the building breaks, he gets away from the lady having the gun on him. And he then, like, he's like, oh, hey, kid, I found you. Like, it was just like really kind of like
Yeah.
quick resolve. But other than that, it was really good. And one thing that Tate Brombell does really well, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but a lot of times I'll complain about writers not trusting their artists, where they're like, no, I have to over explain everything. This, he just trusts his artists, and it
Hmm.
works really well because this artist is very good. So
Yeah.
outside of that one spot, I don't really have a complaint with this book.
Agreed. Like, definitely no, like the dialogue that you get, it's not internal. It's just the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that's happening between characters, and the art covers the rest. So I agree
Yeah.
completely. And I couldn't have said it better. I am captivated. It's not perfect, but I think it's really good. I like that panel towards the end where the little girl's like, no, and her eyes light up and she's going all, behemoth mode. I just want to like kind of get more into the meat of what's happening here.
Yeah.
So I'm still on for the ride. It's a cool book. Boom puts out cool books like this, so good for them. Uh I want more essentially, and I
Yeah.
guess I guess that's all you can ask for in this book, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I'll give it like a 7.5, totally
I like it.
solid.
I liked it way more than you. I'm gonna give it a cool 9.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, so We got Daredevil number 6, and this is by Chip Zdarsky with Raphael De La Torre on the art. And initial
What a cover, by the way.
right on, man. I don't think I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think Electra Daredevil can look bad. Like, she's just the best, like the coolest new design
Yeah,
we've had in ages. Like, so cool.
yeah.
And then everything else about it's just rad. But what were your thoughts, man?
I liked it. I this is gonna be this might sound weird, but my favorite part is when uh he's just talking to that guy, I think his name's Bullet or something like that, where they're just like prepping food for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy's like, look, you know, if we leave, they're just gonna throw me back in jail. You're not helping me out. I'm just here because I'd rather be here than in jail. And he leaves, and Daredevil gets mad and like throws all the pots and pans. It's just like this book is real,
Yeah.
and it really confuses me. And I'll get to this when we get to the next book. Why is this so good and Batman is so bad?
I don't know, man. Like, this is one thing that's crazy too, and I don't want to bring in other writers, but other writers will try to do stuff like this, where they'll be like, because this is very much, and it's been this way for a lot of it, where it's like very much talking about the prison industrial complex, and whether or not you agree with it, disagree, whatever with what they're stating, doesn't matter. It does what it's saying in a good, thoughtful way. There's other writers out there that would have been like, oh yeah, Daredevil with his super hearing has now just fixed the prison industrial complex and there's no issues anymore. Everyone's bad that were politicians. They are all in jail. And the good
You're subtweeting Tom Taylor right
I am. But
now.
but there's also other writers that do that same crap and it just doesn't work. But like when you do it this way, this is how you do it. Because even if you disagree, you can still go, oh, this is making me think. And that's what you need out of this, instead of just saying you're wrong, this is right. Because this is like, it's showing there's not really a good fix for this, but something does need to be fixed.
And to piggyback off of that, not only that with the prison systems, but also Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not a Christian, don't believe in God, whatever you believe, I think Chip just handles it in such a way where you at least consider what Daredevil's mindset is as he's going through the various scenarios in his life.
Yeah.
I
My
just I love how he handles it.
my only real knock on this issue, and I knew it was gonna happen, and I know this is like your real favorite part, is how much of a punk Iron Man is in this issue. It's just like gets completely wrecked, no problem by these assassins.
Yeah. No, I mean, no, I get it. I get it. It is silly. And the fact that Elektra just puts her non-lethal size together and then a bunch of assassins jump him. It's like, I don't really think two guys could just take Iron Man like that.
It's like, oh, these are special blades. They win.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
like that part, but other than that, this is a
Also,
really really good issue.
it is. I also wanted to commend um the stuff between Agony and Doc Samson.
Doc Sasquatch now, but yeah,
Yeah, Sasquatch. Sorry, Doc Samson's the Bronze Man. Uh, but I think that's good too. And then Daredevil comes in, and it's just like the only thing you're gonna suffer from here is love. And she's like, "Fuck this," and walks
yeah.
off. Like, I don't know. I just love it. I love
And
it.
I mean, I like the part with Fancy Dan and Cole.
Yeah,
Like that was good. Like that's just
it's just,
good
dude.
way.
This
Yeah,
the whole issue is just full of real moments between characters that you can appreciate, and that's why Daredevil is, you're saying that Ben Percy and Ghostrider is the best thing at Marvel. For me right now, it's Daredevil.
Daredevil's a close second. It's like Daredevil's just like a really really good book. Ghost Rider is just a really really fun book.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally get it.
So yeah, for me it's gonna be a 9 out of 10. Just the Iron Man stuff took me out. Like not took me out, but like that's the only thing that lowered it to a 9.
I'm also at a 9 because I can understand where you're coming from with that.
I think you're gonna be like, I'm at an 11 because fuck Iron Man.
Well, that's the fun, quirky Jake
Oh,
answer.
okay.
All right, which brings us to the much inferior Batman number 130, which is written by Chip Zdarsky and written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Jorge Jimenez. And as always, I will never fault Jorge Jimenez's art. But Casey, I'm sure you're right there with me. The absolute dumbest shit of all time is Batman falling from the moon to the earth and being fine because his suit is just, Batman preps for like falling from the moon. It's like, shut the fuck up. This is stupid.
It
It's
was
so
very stupid.
stupid.
I don't know though. Part of that might have been even dumber was the part when Superman's got his little suit to fight, fight failsafe, and then he's wailing on failsafe. Failsafe's like, this doesn't do anything to me. I'm a robot that was made by Batman, and I can kill you. And then he's like, hey, guess what? You have weak points like all humans, and I'm gonna make your heat vision go off inside of you.
And a part that might be even dumber than that, Casey, is when Batman's like, he might have been prepared for Batman and the rest of the entire fucking world, but he wasn't prepared for Batman and Robin. It's like, what? That's all it took? It
I mean,
wasn't Superman or Aquaman in water. All it took was Batman teaming up with Robin.
well, spoiler alert, it didn't.
Well, yeah, I know it didn't. It didn't at all, but still, you know what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
just, dude, this arc is fucking stupid.
it is. I think it'd be hilarious if Batman would have been like, he's prepared for me and you and everybody, but I know one person and I have her number. And she's gonna come and she's gonna kick his robot ass for me. Hey, punchline. Oh, hey, Batman. How
I
you doing?
thought you'd never call little old me.
I knew I gave you my number for some reason.
Dude, if that would have happened, I don't know if I would have laughed or burnt my entire collection of Batman comics. That is
I
so funny.
I just hope someone's headcanon from now on. It's that punchline is a Southern Belle.
That's the only thing we can give the people.
Yeah, it's the Batman voice, and now our punchline voice. Comment down below what's better, my Batman voice or the punchline voice. Let us
Yeah,
know.
we're dying to know.
Hey Jake, I would say you're better at voices than me. Can you do a punchline Batman voice? Like punchline doing the Batman voice.
Okay, hold on. Let me find a line to read.
Okay.
Okay. This is gonna be so bad. This thing is designed to defeat Batman, but it doesn't stand a chance against Batman and little old Robin.
It 100% sounds like just like Batman as an old Southern lawyer.
That might be the worst thing that's ever come out of me.
I don't
But
know, man.
we have to laugh and make fun of it because really this book is trash
It's
apart
not
from the
good.
artwork.
Yeah. And it hasn't been good since, in my opinion, the first issue. I've not really been about it. I was like, it might get better. Then it's like, oh, I was surprised. It just keeps getting worse.
I really like I have to hold faith that it will be good after this fail-safe arc,
Yeah.
you know? Because really, even that short arc that Williamson did with the other Jorge, whose last name I'm blanking on, with like Lex Luthor and
Yeah.
Batman Inc. Like that was way better than this.
Yeah. 100%.
This is just horrifically disappointing.
It is.
If you'd have told me a year ago that Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez are taking over Batman and it's gonna suck, I'd have been like, get the fuck out of here. No, it's
Yeah.
not.
But I mean, you remember Batman the Night or whatever, that Chip Zdarsky book? That was pretty rough also. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's my thing. Is all of this to drive Daredevil sales?
I
Because
don't
like
know.
to compare the two, it's just not even close.
In all fairness to Daredevil though, it's like that one it's got a lot more lore behind it with what Chip's been doing. Like it started off like I was like first three, I mean, it's just like three issues. But the first three issues, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Daredevil being like kind of strung out and accidentally killing a guy. Oh, I don't know how this is gonna pan out 3 years or 4 years later. I'm like, this is pretty darn good.
Yeah,
So
dude. I
it's
get it.
a little bit, a little bit different, but
Yeah.
still. Where are you at with it though, man?
I'm gonna say 4,
Yeah, I was feeling a 3, so
which hurts me because Jorge Jimenez deserves a much higher score than
yeah.
that.
The art's fantastic in it. But no punchline, that really hurt it.
Yep. It's the only thing it's missing.
Yep. Now I kind of just want to start reading the punchline books just so I can be like, and then she goes, oh, you thought you was prepared for little old me? Well, you never are. You can never be ready for me.
Hey,
Punchline.
man. You just tell me when you're ready for the back issues. I got you settled.
Oh, I will never be. Okay, so next up, and to finish us off with, it's Thor 29 by Torrin Groenbeck and Nick Klein. So, as someone that's like, I'm just tired of the Donny Cates, I want to get back to Thor stuff. How do you feel about this, man?
I was pretty high on it, dude. Honestly.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
like I didn't read the Thanos book.
yeah.
So I don't really care too much about Black Order stuff. And I also didn't know about Thor's little sister here.
Yeah, I had no clue about her.
However, the mirror that showed the future her made her look pretty cool. And everything else was like, I just feel like Torrin Groenbeck truly has read like all Thor series. Like she's a Thor fan,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell by the way she writes like the sort of mythology inspired story. And I think with spoiler alert, Boar showing up at the end, that this is going to be like back to just a fun Thor slash mythology story.
Yeah. Like I knew you would like it as I was reading it. The old lady Valkyrie that pops up in this one, I'm not gonna lie, needs more beef, but she's pretty cool in it. I like the part when she's gonna set that one dude on fire. That was pretty
That
hilarious.
was hilarious,
Yeah.
dude.
And then, I mean, with his again, if she was beefier, she could just break his arm, but whatever.
Yep.
Wouldn't have been as funny. But yeah, like the fights are cool in it. My main thing is I just felt like I was missing a bunch of stuff because it's like, oh, I didn't know he had a little sister,
Yeah.
and then
Same.
all of that stuff. So
Yep.
that's my real main gripe with this book.
Yeah.
But
I realize that it's not amazing or perfect, but I like this more than I liked any of the whole crossover stuff, which just got like kind of dumb for me by the end of it. This is more enjoyable for
yeah,
like an avid Thor fan.
yeah, I knew. I like I said, I was reading this like, yeah, this is 100% Jake Sally.
Yeah. So I'm probably like an 8.5 for it, especially because Nick Klein is back on the art, which is
Yeah, the art
great.
in it's very good. And I'm at about a 7. It's just like I said, I felt like I was missing a lot. So that's what
Mhm.
kind of threw me off. But it's going to be an interesting story.
Yep.
But what are you excited for next week, man?
I am excited for Batgirls, Leonide Vampire, and I'll say Red Sonja, Hell Sonja.
Okay. What's that one?
Hell Sonja is like her own character that kind of. Are you familiar with like the old Chaos comics, like Purgatory and stuff like that?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, it has something to do with that. It's just like Sonya or a version of Sonya is like I don't know if she's like Queen of Hell, but has something to do with hell. And this is like a versus book. So could be fun.
Yeah. Right on, man. Okay. So, for me, I'm going to say um Invincible Iron Man. I'm gonna give that a check out for sure. Um,
Guess who's
oh,
not giving that a check out?
I don't know. Probably um like Michael, maybe. I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, cool. Um, I'm gonna go Dark Ride and then Dark Crisis Big Bang one shot. I'm really curious what Sheldon's up to. I wonder how he's
Mhm.
gonna help them. He's like,
So I actually got this in this week and checked it in early. It's actually just a big crossover orgy between the Justice League and the Big Bang Theory characters.
yes, I'm so happy.
Yep.
That's exactly what I've been wanting for so long. Okay, man. So Fantastic Four time. So somebody, I'm trying to find the actual tweets really quick, but um basically somebody asked, uh somebody asked about James Gunn about the gorilla rule at DC. So basically, it was like there was this rule where they couldn't be putting gorillas out there as much because they were doing it way too much back in the day. So they had this like rule, and it was like way back in the golden age or something. And so then someone brought that up to Gunn, and he says, they like, oh, are you going to up the gorilla limit by 1? And then he said he's going to abide by no gorilla limits whatsoever in future DCU project. So that to me says Gunn's going to have the gorilla verse because he wants to make as much money as possible. That's what the 10-year plan is. It's going to be replacing everyone with gorillas, and he's going to need 4 DC gorillas to build his universe around. So give me 4 DC gorillas that you want him to build around. Maybe he's listening.
Sure. So I will give you my 4 favorite gorillas at DC, and I don't know how many more there are outside of these 4, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the newest one first, Gorilla Gregg, because while that series Teen Titans Academy kind of fizzled, we both really enjoyed Gorilla Gregg.
I would read like a 15 issue series and by or 15-year long series about Gorilla Gregg.
Absolutely.
Gorilla Gregg may be this is gonna be the title of the episode. Gorilla Gregg is the greatest thing Tim Sheridan has ever brought to this earth.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
Maybe he'll retweet it now. Maybe he'll follow us for this.
Please, Tim. Please, T shares. So Gorilla Gregg and then Gorilla Grodd, his uncle. You gotta say Grodd when talking about DC Gorillas. The other 2, this next one is because I liked him in his brief stints in Young Justice, but Monsieur Mala, or Monsieur Mala, um, he was cool in Young Justice. He helped out the little brain robot thing, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. He was in the Young Justice cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I never watched it. I knew he was in the Teen Titans one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was him. I'm not sure who. Let's see. Young Justice Gorilla. Yeah, it was Monster Mala.
I didn't even know that the Brotherhood Evil or whatever was even in Young Justice.
It's a good show, man. They got lots of cool characters in
I'm gonna wait 20 years when the next season comes out, and that'll be the final season,
it.
and then I'll watch
There you go.
it.
And then my final one and my favorite of the DC gorillas, Ultra Humanite. If nobody has read the Elseworlds story by James Robinson called Golden Age, you've got to check it out. Casey, if you've read that one, right?
I haven't. I own them. I just haven't got to it.
Okay. Well, it's really good. The quick pitch on that, guys, is that Ultra Humanite uh mixes himself up with like Hitler to take out the Justice Society and the Justice League and take over the world. Super cool stuff. But Ultra Humanite is actually a pretty stacked character as far as like DC villains go. So if anyone's going to be like the center gorilla to build around, it's got to be Ultra Humanite.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things. Like, I could actually see Humanite working inside of the DC universe as like a random one-off villain,
Yeah.
really well. Like, have him and Metallo in a Man of Steel 2 or whatever. I think that would work
Oh
really,
yeah, for
be
sure.
great. So yeah, he was on my list. And then of course, Sir Gregg is on my list because, again, the greatest thing Tim Scherr has ever made. Jack and Napes is like, have him just show up in the new Joker movie.
Dude, where else?
I mean, it'd be perfect. And then like Jared Leto's Joker, just the same exact Jack and Napes. And he'll just be like, I thought I was with the other Joker. Like, he'll just say that. And then Jared Leto will be like, holy shit, a talking gorilla.
We just wrote a better Joker scene with Jared Leto than any of the movies have.
I mean, all fairness, the Zack Snyder one, he had a fun scene, but no Jack and Napes, so it's not as good.
Yeah.
And then I'm not gonna go Grodd because Grodd's gonna be a part of, Gregg's series, which so Gregg is the centerpiece
Sure.
of James Gunn's new. I'm just saying this, like, if you're listening to this and you want to get this rumor going, go ahead. Um, James Gunn can be like, oh, these Two World Podcast assholes, how did they get my emails? But it'll be Gregg's the center. He's gonna get his own movie franchise, like 7 movies, and then he's gonna get his
The
own.
Gregg verse.
Yeah, and then he's also getting his backstory done on an HBO Max, you know, just show. It's gonna be multiple seasons. It'll be his past, and it'll be his future. It'll jump all around. It's gonna make perfect sense 30 years down the line. And then he's gonna have his own comic and his own video games. But Grodd's gonna have a big part in all of that. So that's why he's not being included. He's gonna be, his uncle, his confidant, his best friend. He's there when he gets laid the first time, like, oh yeah, son, or he's like,
Wait,
yeah,
he's
nephew.
he's there?
Like, he's in the other room. Like, he's the
Okay.
one that, he was his wing.
Okay. Sure.
And but then my other gorilla, I'm blanking on this gorilla, but it would have been the gorilla that was the Rogues gorilla, and that, like, it was like in the Rogues comic, he was the detective. He was a detective gorilla in the Rogues comic. I would have like a nice little series with him. I think Jake's looking up. That's what it looks like you're
I
doing right now.
am because
Yeah,
I don't know who that would have.
but he was a lot of fun. I think that would make it for a good time. And if not him, I'll just toss in a chimp because it's still a monkey. Detective Chimp. Everybody's favorite, little guy.
Yeah, I cannot find an answer.
Well, really quick, while I talk about, you guys.
Wait, is it Sam Simeon?
Yes, it is. Sam Simeon is my fourth choice. Sorry, Detective Chimp. come back when you've evolved a little bit more. I think that's how evolution worked. But comment down below how evolution worked, and also what four gorillas you want to see in the gun gorilla verse.
Dude, that makes me want to really pick up the Rogues trade. Not because I love the first issue, but Sam Simeon hasn't been around in forever.
Dude, it's a fun time. Like there's stuff about it that I'm like I kind of disagree with some of the characterizations, but still it's a good book.
Right on. All right. Well, folks, that does bring us to the end of the episode. As much as I would love for us to keep talking about DC Universe gorillas, there really just needs to be more of them.
Hear that, James Gunn? Get the gorillas.
Please. But now for the closing plugs. If you would, you can go to facebook.com/Churros Podcast and give the page a like if you want.
And here's another thing. If I'll post every day on Facebook. If in our email, what's the email?
twoworldspodcast@gmail.com.
If you send us an email of us photoshopped onto gorillas' bodies, I'll post that on our Facebook. And then I'll just post random stuff on the Facebook every day, once a day for a year.
There we go. 365 at Two Worlds Podcast. Anyway, you can also follow us on Twitter, where you can see Casey's mild comic takes at 2_worlds_PC and at Two Worlds Pod on Instagram, where this week I'm going to post some incredible Poison Ivy variant covers. You can also email us at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com. And if you would, go to our YouTube channel. That's Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel, where we post funny stories about customers that come into comic headquarters, as well as do raunchy, juvenile Sonic the Hedgehog Mad Libs.
And comment down below on our YouTube channel, like, if next time we do the Mad Libs, this will be fun. Jake has to read them all as if he's Punchline or Batman. You guys choose. And we'd love to stay in chat, but honestly, it's late. And we're both children in this one because he's Johnny Quest and I'm Haji, and we gotta get to sleep. Bye, guys.
Bye.